You didn't click this video by accident. Something is protecting you right now. There's something about your life that never made sense. Not to others. And maybe not even to you. Think about it. The moments you should have lost but didn't. The situations that could have destroyed you, yet somehow you walked away. The doors that slammed in your face, only for something better to appear later. The times you felt completely alone, but something inside you whispered, keep going. That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was protection. There are forces you cannot see, guardians you cannot name, working silently in the background of your life, guiding you, shielding you, redirecting you, again and again. Because you're not like everyone else. You've always felt it, haven't you? That quiet difference. That deep sense that you were meant for something more. Even when life got heavy. Even when people misunderstood you. Even when you doubted yourself. Something never let you break. Something always pulled you back from the edge. You weren't saved by chance. You were chosen to be protected. And the truth is, if you could see all the things that were meant to happen to you, all the danger you were unknowingly pulled away from, all the battles fought for you in silence, it would shake you, because your story was never ordinary. Your path was never random. Every delay, every setback, every closed door was part of a design you couldn't yet understand. But now you're starting to feel it, aren't you? That something is shifting. That something is awakening. This isn't just another video. This is a reminder. You were never alone. You were never unprotected. And what's coming next is exactly why you were saved all along. But what if I told you the biggest battle is happening right now, and you have no idea? There were moments you should have lost, but somehow you didn't. Think back, not just casually, really go there. There were moments in your life that don't add up. Like that day everything almost went wrong. Maybe you were about to go somewhere, but something delayed you. You got distracted, felt tired, changed your mind at the last second. At the time it felt random, maybe even annoying, but later you realized something had happened. An accident, a problem, a situation you just barely missed, and you couldn't explain it. Or that time you trusted someone you shouldn't have. You were close to getting pulled into something toxic, something that could have drained you, broken you, or completely changed your path. But suddenly things fell apart, they left. You walked away. It ended before it fully began. It hurt, but it saved you. There were also moments of failure that didn't feel like protection at all. Doors that slammed shut in your face. Opportunities you begged for, but never got. You questioned yourself. You wondered, why is this happening to me? But look again. What if that job you didn't get would have trapped you? What if that relationship that ended was leading you somewhere darker? What if that failure was the only way to redirect you before it was too late? You didn't just miss out. You were pulled away. And then there are the moments you can't even fully remember. Times when something inside you said, no. A feeling you couldn't explain. A sudden shift in energy. A quiet voice telling you to stop, to wait, to turn back. You listened, or sometimes you didn't. But either way, something stepped in. Because the truth is, some things were never meant to reach you. Not the harm, not the destruction. Not the ending that could have erased who you're becoming. There has always been something watching over your path. Not loudly, not in a way you could easily see, but precisely, intentionally. Adjusting timing, closing doors, breaking connections, delaying outcomes, not to punish you, but to protect you. And the most powerful part, you'll never fully know how many times you were saved. How many unseen battles were fought on your behalf. How many outcomes were rewritten before they could reach you. How many endings were quietly erased so your story could continue. That's why, no matter how hard it got, you're still here, not by accident, but because someone refused to let your story end too soon. Someone stepped in, But why are they protecting you? There were nights when the silence felt louder than anything else. No messages, no one checking on you, no one who truly understood what you were carrying inside. You sat there with your thoughts replaying everything. The pain, the confusion, the questions that never seemed to have answers. And in those moments it felt like you were completely alone. Like the world had forgotten you. But here's the truth most people never realize. Some of your loneliest moments were actually your most protected ones, because not everyone who leaves is a loss, and not every silence is emptiness. Sometimes the noise had to be removed, the distractions had to fade, the wrong people had to step away, so something deeper could hold you together. Think about it. There were times you felt like you were breaking, yet somehow you didn't fall apart. You bent, you struggled, you questioned everything. But something inside you stayed intact. Something refused to let you collapse completely. That wasn't just strength. That was protection in its quietest form. Because while it felt like no one was there, something was still watching over you. Not in a loud, obvious way. Not with signs you could clearly see, but in the small things. That sudden calm in the middle of chaos. That unexplained feeling that you'll be okay, even when nothing was okay. That moment you stopped yourself, right before making a decision you would regret. You weren't guided with noise. You were guided in silence. And yes, it felt lonely. Because growth like this isn't meant to be crowded. Protection like this doesn't always come with company. Sometimes, being alone was the only way to keep you safe. Safe from people who didn't understand you. Safe from environments that would have drained you. Safe from paths that looked right, but would have led you somewhere dark. So while it felt like abandonment, it was actually alignment. While it felt like isolation, it was quiet intervention. And even now, if you look back closely, you'll see it. You were never truly alone in those dark moments, because something stayed with you. When everyone else didn't, something kept you going. When you had every reason to give up, something held you together. When nothing around you made sense. Call it what you want, but it never left you. Not then, not now, and it never will. Because your life holds something far greater than you think. Not everyone around you wants to see you win, and your guardian knows that. Not every threat in your life ever showed its face. Some of it smiled at you. Some of it stood close to you. Some of it even clapped for you, while secretly hoping you would fall. You felt it, didn't you? That strange shift in energy around certain people. That tension you couldn't explain. That feeling that something wasn't right, even when everything looked fine on the surface. That wasn't your imagination. Because not all enemies come with warnings. Some come with compliments. Some come disguised as friends. And some never speak at all, but their energy speaks loudly. Jealousy is quiet. It doesn't always shout. It watches. It studies. It waits. And when you're someone who's different, someone who carries something others don't fully understand, you naturally attract attention, both good and bad. There are people who saw your light and felt threatened by it. People who sensed your potential and couldn't stand it. People who smiled in your presence but doubted you in your absence. And beyond people, there are also unseen weights. Negative energy that tries to slow you down. Moments where everything feels heavy for no clear reason. Days where your motivation disappears, your mind clouds, your spirit feels drained. You thought it was just you. But what if it wasn't? What if some of those moments weren't weakness, but resistance? Because when something valuable is being built, it doesn't go unnoticed. But here's what you didn't see. While all of that was happening, you were being protected. Silently, constantly, precisely. Connections that suddenly broke, that was protection. Plans that fell apart at the last minute, that was protection. People who walked away, exposed themselves, or revealed their true nature just in time, that was protection. Even the delays, the confusion, the redirections. None of it was random. Because if everything had gone the way you wanted, you might have walked straight into something meant to harm you. Something that would have drained your energy, distracted your focus, or completely pulled you off your path. But it didn't happen. Not because there were no threats, but because something kept intercepting them. Something kept blocking what you couldn't see. Something kept filtering who had access to you. Something kept saying no on your behalf, even when you were ready to say yes. You weren't just moving through life freely. You were being guarded. That's why certain things never reached you. That's why certain people couldn't stay. That's why some attacks never fully landed. And the most powerful part, you'll never know how much was stopped before it ever touched you. How many intentions were redirected. How many plans against you fell apart. How many unseen battles were handled without your awareness. So the next time something doesn't work out, or someone suddenly exits your life, or a situation collapses without explanation, don't be so quick to see it as a loss. Because sometimes that's exactly what protection looks like. And one of those threats is closer than you think. You felt it before, that sudden warning you couldn't explain. There's a voice inside you that doesn't speak loudly, but it's always right. You felt it. That sudden knot in your stomach when something isn't right. That quiet hesitation before making a decision. That unexplainable urge to walk away even when everything looks perfect on the outside. That's not overthinking. That's not fear. That's intuition, and it's one of the clearest forms of protection you've been given. Think about the times you ignored it. When something told you, don't trust this person, but you did anyway. When you felt, this isn't the right path, but you kept going. When your inner voice whispered, stop, and you didn't listen. What happened? Things got complicated, heavier, messier than they needed to be. Now think about the times you did listen. You walked away and later realized what you avoided. You said no and found out what that yes would have cost you. You paused and something revealed itself just in time. That's not coincidence. That's guidance. Because your intuition doesn't come from logic. It doesn't need proof. It doesn't wait for explanations. It knows before you know. It sees what your eyes can't see yet. It feels what hasn't fully happened yet. It warns you about things your mind hasn't caught up to. And most of the time it's subtle. Not a loud command, not a dramatic sign, just a feeling, a pull, a resistance, a quiet voice that says something is off. That's how protection speaks to you. Not through noise, but through awareness. Because if it shouted every time, you wouldn't trust it. If it forced you every time, you wouldn't grow. So instead it nudges you. Gives you signals. Gives you chances to choose differently. And when you listen, it strengthens. When you ignore it, it doesn't disappear. It just waits. Patiently. For the next moment you're willing to hear it. The truth is, you've been warned many times before things went wrong. You've been guided away from paths that looked fine on the surface, but carried something deeper underneath. That inner voice. It's not random. It's not just instinct. It's protection translated into feeling. A direct line between you and something that sees further than you do. So the next time you feel it, that pause, that tension, that quiet no or undeniable yes, don't brush it off. Don't silence it, because that voice has been trying to protect you long before you even realized you needed protection. And it still is. That voice isn't just yours. While you sleep, something is still fighting for you. There are battles happening around you that you were never meant to see. Not with your eyes, not with logic, not in a way the world could easily explain. But you felt them. Those days when you wake up heavy for no reason, when your energy drops, your mind feels foggy, your motivation disappears, when everything inside you feels like it's being pulled in different directions, and you don't even know why. It feels random. But what if it isn't? What if some of those moments are echoes of a deeper conflict, a struggle happening beyond what you can physically touch, but still affecting you in ways you can't ignore? Because not all battles are visible. Some are fought in silence, in energy, in intention. And when you carry something meaningful, something rare, something that isn't easily understood, you don't just move through life unnoticed. You become involved in something greater. There are forces that try to weaken you, to distract you, to drain you slowly, so you never step into what you're meant to become. You've seen it in subtle ways. Sudden waves of doubt that don't feel like your own. Negative thoughts that appear out of nowhere. Moments where you question your worth, your path, your purpose, without any clear reason. It's like something is trying to lower you quietly. And at the same time, something else is holding you up. Because despite all of that, you're still here, still thinking, still searching, still trying. You didn't give up, even when it got dark, even when it felt like too much, even when you were close to walking away from everything. You didn't. That's not just willpower. That's resistance being met with protection. Because while you couldn't see it, something was standing in the gap for you. Blocking what was meant to break you, absorbing what you were never supposed to carry, balancing what was trying to push you off your path. Unseen struggles met with unseen defense. That's why some things hit you, but never fully destroy you. That's why you feel pressure, but don't completely collapse. That's why you go through storms, but somehow make it out on the other side. You're not just dealing with what's in front of you. You're moving through layers most people never even realize exist. A quiet war where your focus, your peace, your purpose are constantly being tested. And yet, you're still standing, not untouched, not unaffected, but not defeated either. Because every unseen attack has been met with unseen protection. Every moment you thought you were losing, something was making sure you didn't lose completely. And maybe you were never meant to see it all, because if you did, you would realize just how much has been happening behind the scenes, just to keep you here, just to keep you going, just to make sure you make it to what you were always meant for. And one night, everything almost changed forever. You were never meant to live a normal life. There's a reason your life has never felt ordinary. A reason you've never been able to fully fit into the same patterns as everyone else. A reason you see things differently, feel things more deeply, question things others blindly accept. It's not accidental. It's not random. It's because you were never meant to walk a common path. From the beginning, something about you was set apart. You've gone through things that forced you to grow faster, faced challenges that didn't make sense at the time, carried thoughts, emotions, and awareness that others around you couldn't understand. And for a long time it felt like a burden, like you were out of place, like you didn't belong anywhere completely, like you were too much for some people, and not enough for others. But what if that feeling wasn't rejection? What if it was preparation? Because purpose doesn't come wrapped in comfort. Destiny doesn't follow the easy road. The ones who are meant for more are shaped differently. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to see what others miss, to feel what others ignore, to question what others never dare to. That's why your path has been unpredictable. Delays that didn't make sense, losses that felt unfair, moments where everything slowed down while everyone else seemed to move ahead. But look deeper. You weren't being held back. You were being aligned. Because if everything had happened quickly, easily, normally, you might have ended up in the wrong place, with the wrong people, living a life that didn't belong to you. So your journey took a different shape, a slower one, a heavier one, a more isolating one at times. Not to punish you, but to build you into someone who can carry what's coming. Because you're not here to just exist. You're here to become. To step into something that requires awareness, strength, resilience, and depth most people never develop. That's why you've always felt that quiet pull inside you. That sense that there's something more waiting, something you haven't fully stepped into yet, but can't ignore anymore. That's not ego. That's recognition. A part of you remembering, even if you can't fully explain it. You are different. Not better than others, but built for something different. And everything you've gone through, the protection, the isolation, the redirection, the unseen battles, it all connects. It was never chaos. It was design. Because a path like yours requires preparation most people would never understand. So if you've ever felt out of place, it's not because you don't belong anywhere. It's because you were never meant to belong everywhere. You were meant to find your place, step into your purpose, and become exactly who all of this has been shaping you to be. You're not lost. You're in the process of becoming. And that feeling inside you, that quiet knowing that your life means something more, that's not a coincidence. That's your destiny calling you forward, because your purpose is being protected at all costs. The more you rise, the more resistance you feel. What if the struggle you've been trying to escape is actually the clearest proof that you're moving in the right direction? Because think about it. Easy paths don't build anything meaningful. They don't test you. They don't stretch you. They don't change you. But your path, it's been different. Heavy at times, confusing, full of resistance that seems to show up exactly when you're about to move forward. That's not random. That's pressure meeting purpose. Because the moment you start getting closer to something that actually matters, something aligned with who you're meant to become, you'll feel it. The resistance increases. The doubts get louder. The obstacles appear out of nowhere. It's like everything suddenly becomes harder. And most people see that and turn back. They think, this must not be for me. They take the resistance as a sign to quit. But what if it's the opposite? What if resistance is confirmation? Because nothing valuable comes without friction. Nothing powerful grows without pressure. You've seen it before, even if you didn't realize it. Every time you leveled up in your life, there was discomfort first. Every time you grew stronger, there was a moment you felt like breaking. Every time you stepped closer to something meaningful, something tried to pull you back. That's not coincidence. That's transformation, because growth isn't gentle. It reshapes you. It forces you to let go of old versions of yourself. It challenges your mindset. It pushes you into situations that feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. And yes, it can feel like everything is working against you. But look again, you're still moving, still trying, still standing, despite everything. That means something. Because if your path didn't matter, there would be no resistance. If your growth wasn't important, there would be nothing pushing against it. If your purpose wasn't real, there would be nothing trying to slow it down. The pressure you feel, it's not there to stop you. It's there to shape you, to strengthen your focus, to test your commitment, to prepare you for something that requires more than just desire. It requires endurance. So the next time things get hard, the next time you feel that weight, that friction, that invisible pushback, don't immediately see it as a sign to quit. See it as a sign to pay attention, because resistance doesn't show up for no reason. It shows up when you're getting close. Close to growth, close to change, close to becoming someone you've never been before. And that's exactly why it feels so intense. You're not being blocked. You're being built. And every struggle you face is proof that what's ahead of you is worth becoming stronger for. And now the attacks are getting stronger. You're closer than ever, and that's why everything feels intense. Something is changing. You can feel it, even if you can't fully explain it yet. The same struggles are there, but they don't hit you the same way anymore. The same doubts show up, but they don't control you like they used to. The same situations repeat, but now you're starting to see through them. That's not random. That's transformation. Because before the breakthrough, everything intensifies. The pressure gets heavier. The tests become sharper. The old patterns try one last time to pull you back into who you used to be. It's like life asks you one final question. Are you really ready? And this is the part most people don't understand. Right before things shift, it often feels like everything is falling apart. Energy feels unstable. Emotions feel heightened. Things around you may start to break, separate, or end. But that's not destruction. That's separation. What no longer aligns with you is being removed. What can't grow with you is falling away. What was never meant for your next level is losing its hold on you. And yes, it can feel uncomfortable, because you're standing between two versions of yourself. The one you've outgrown, and the one you're becoming. That space in between. It's not easy. It's uncertain. It's intense. It tests everything you've learned so far. But it's also where the shift happens. Because you're not the same person anymore. You don't react the same. You don't chase the same things. You don't tolerate what you used to. Your awareness has expanded. Your strength has deepened. Your vision is becoming clearer. That's why things around you are changing. Not because you're losing, but because you're evolving. And here's the truth. Breakthrough doesn't arrive loudly. It builds quietly, behind the scenes, while you're still fighting your internal battles, while you're still questioning, while you're still pushing through days that don't feel rewarding yet. Until one day, everything clicks. The clarity comes, the opportunity appears, the shift you've been feeling finally becomes visible, and you realize it. Every delay had a purpose. Every struggle built something inside you. Every moment you almost gave up was actually bringing you closer. You're not at the beginning anymore. You're not even in the middle. You're right there, at the edge of something different. Something you've been moving toward this entire time, even when you didn't know it. So if things feel intense right now, if everything feels like it's accelerating, shifting, breaking, and rebuilding all at once, don't panic, don't step back, because this isn't where you fall apart. This is where you break through. This is where everything you've been carrying, everything you've been learning, everything you've been becoming, finally starts to make sense. You're not going backwards. You're crossing the line between who you were and who you were always meant to be. But there's one final test you must face. If you're still watching this, it means you were meant to hear this. So after everything, the confusion, the isolation, the battles no one else could see, the moments you almost gave up, you're still here, not by accident, not by luck, but because you were never meant to break. There has always been something guiding you, something protecting you, something making sure that no matter how close you got to the edge, you didn't fall past the point of return. And now look at you, stronger than you were before, wiser than you were before, more aware, more grounded, more awake than you've ever been. You didn't just survive your path. You were shaped by it. Every challenge carved strength into you. Every delay built patience in you. Every loss revealed what truly matters for you. Nothing was wasted. Not the pain. Not the confusion. Not even the moments you thought were breaking you. Because all of it was building someone who can handle what's coming next. And what's coming next, it's not small. It requires the version of you that had to be tested, refined, and protected along the way. That's why you couldn't give up. That's why you weren't allowed to quit completely. That's why, even in your weakest moments, something inside you kept saying, keep going. That voice, it's still with you. That protection, it hasn't left you. That purpose, it's closer now than it has ever been. So stop doubting your path. Stop questioning why it had to be this hard. Because a journey like yours was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be meaningful. You are not behind, you are not lost, and you are definitely not ordinary. You are prepared, you are protected, and you are moving exactly where you're meant to go. So trust it. Trust the process. Trust the resistance. Trust the timing. But most importantly, trust yourself. Because you didn't come this far just to wonder if you can make it. You came this far because deep down, you already know you will. Give a powerful conclusion. Reinforce strength, protection, destiny. Motivate viewer to believe in themselves and their journey.